We're going spearfishing today, so Captain Elliot made me these kitten-inspired pancakes. They're even blue, like the reef. This paired with a cup of coffee out of our Boat Daddy mug will give us all the energy we need today. South Florida Fishing Channel. This is my custom spear gun, and in the last video I missed a couple of fish because I was shooting low, and that is because I have a new shaft on here with 2 floppers. And I'm used to only shooting with 1 flopper, but this extra flopper here adds extra weight, adds some drag to the shaft, which causes your shaft to drop quicker instead of shooting more straight. So I think I missed a couple of fish because of that. And I'm not a fan of the 2 floppers anyways. It makes it a lot harder to take the shaft off of a fish. So we're gonna fix that by cutting it off. By the way, the last spearfishing video is already over 100,000 views. Thank you guys so much for hitting that like button and leaving comments on my videos. It helps so much. And to thank you guys for all your support, I'm going a little extra hard today. We're bringing 8 blocks of chum. There's 2 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks, and then I have another 2 blocks over there. Let's get to cutting, boys. Okay. I really don't want to cut my bands. I'm guessing the best way to do this is just... something about this don't feel right. I want to like clamp... I almost feel like I shouldn't have the shaft in the spear gun. Oh, this is much better. And I'll clamp this shaft down. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you'd almost think I'm a professional. Couldn't get it to turn off. What the heck? Seems like the button got stuck. If anything, it seems like I made the weld more permanent than anything. Yeah, they always say a little bit of elbow grease goes a long way. There we go. For some reason this button got stuck. Button got stuck again. Oh, you know what? I think I was using the button wrong. You have to push down and then pull. Oh. Mission complete. That's what it looks like now. At least it's flush. We're back in action. Alright, we're locked and loaded. I put these 8 blocks of chum right there last night to defrost, and unfortunately it got chum juice all over my beautiful floors. Oh my gosh, there's carpenter ants. Welcome to my daily life. This is why they always leave me. On this trip, we got Dan joining us and his son Matthew. It's a beautiful blue sky, sunny day here in Florida, and we make our way through the mangroves, going down a few cuts, and it doesn't take long before we're heading out into the open ocean. There's a lot of seaweed still coming into our channels, which has been a bit of a problem. If you watched my last video on that, there's definitely more seaweed than normal around. As soon as we get out of the mangroves and hit that reef, the water turns the Bahamian blue, crystal clear, like you just want to drink it. Blue Gatorade. Woo, that's a beautiful reef. We got the anchor down. We're in about 20 feet of water, and we got a chum bag out the back. We're gonna be dropping chum balls for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Gonna do some fishing, and then we're gonna put on our fins, grab our spear guns, and hop in and see what's down there. But first, we gotta chum. You gotta chum for at least 30 minutes. Dun, dun, dun.
Using the valley hoop over by us.
3 buckets full of chum.
That's for sure.
The way we make these chum balls is we mix 2 blocks of chum, oats, and sand. And you want a consistency, kind of like a snowball, where you can make a ball and it holds its shape. That way, when you drop it in the water, it sinks straight to the bottom, bypassing all the little bait fish and hitting the bottom where it attracts grouper, mutton snapper, and the bigger stuff. Fish on! Hey! Yellowtail snapper. Another one.
What is that?
Oh.
Exotic.
That is exotic looking. That's a wild looking fish. Is that like a type of wrasse or whatever they're called? Nice. They're here, boys. The fish are starting to roll in from these chum balls. Let's watch this one sink. There's a big school of yellowtail snapper and some nurse sharks down there. It seems like they're the ones eating all of our chum. I don't see any big groupers, just some big sharks. You should always chum for at least 30 minutes before jumping in to get the fish chum drunk. When a grouper is chum drunk, they're eating your chum, they're full, they're lazy, and you can almost swim right up to them and shoot them. During this time, you can do some fishing and you can catch some bait. Ballyhoop net strikes again. Ballyhoo make for some awesome flashers. Let them sink and fish will come right up to them. Time to strap on the fins. It's spearfishing time. First things I like to do is take our chum balls and just drop a whole bunch of them. Some of them behind the boat, right under the boat. I'll toss a couple in front of the boat. I like to drop like 6 of these chum balls right before I jump in. It really gets the fish fired up. I also load my spear gun out of the water. A lot of people don't like doing this or say it's dangerous. Personally, I don't see what makes it dangerous. If I jump in the water and there's a good fish right under me, I want to be ready to shoot it. What are your thoughts on preloading a spear gun before jumping in? The first thing I see when I jump in is a couple of nurse sharks down there, and it looks like they've been eating the chum balls all along. I count at least 6 of these nurse sharks circling our boat, and they must have just been having a feast for the last 30 minutes while we were chumming. I don't particularly mind the sharks. Sometimes some nice fish follow them, but in this case, it seems like all they did was eat my chum. Here I'm swimming along the bottom and I see a pretty decent yellowjack. I was gonna shoot it and I was debating on doing it, and I decided not to. Kinda wish I would have. I did find this nice spiny lobster sitting in this rock, and boy, can I not wait for lobster season. This guy would have been on the menu. A barracuda swims in front of me and I take a shot. Unfortunately, I miss. But let's play that slow motion. I can't figure out why I missed. I thought I had him lined up pretty good. And when we freeze frame it, we can see in the very last second, he turns his head and my shaft flew right past it. I like to shoot fish in the head so you don't waste any meat, but I've missed a lot of fish from them turning their head at the last second. Should I just start aiming mid-body and ensure the hit? Now we're fishing in deeper water. It's 55 feet here, and you can see the reef is kind of these like finger patterns, these rows of rocks. Groupers love this kind of stuff. I swim down and I find this beautiful coral covered rock, and I wish I had my flashlight because it's dark in that rock, and groupers and other fish like to hide in the dark corners, so I have to put my head right up to the hole to see in it, and I've had moray eels come out at me. Having a flashlight fixes this problem. Don't forget yours. I come across another beautiful rock covered in corals, and this one I see a couple of little fins swimming right in an arch, and it's a nice snapper swimming there. Here it is in slow motion. You can see the fish just hanging out there. His head is kind of behind the rocks. I don't even know if he noticed me, and I take my time to line up the shot. Bam, I get him. As I'm swimming up to the snapper, I didn't even notice this until editing, but check out this chain. It looks like maybe an old anchor chain that's kind of frozen in place, and coral has already began growing over it. I thought that was pretty cool. I looked to the left and to the right on my way up just to make sure no bull sharks are coming. I've had sharks literally grab fish out of my hand, and as I'm swimming up, you can see my spear gun also floating to the surface. This made for a really cool shot as we swim up. First things first, we want to dispatch the fish. I use my knife and put it right through his brain. And now I'm going to pull the shaft out. So I close the flopper and I pull it through the fish. Remember we cut off that second flopper this morning? Pulling this fish off of 2 floppers would have been near impossible. I stick the shaft back through the lip of the fish and reload my gun. This way I can keep spearfishing without needing to go back to the boat, and I don't have to hold the fish in my hand. If a shark grabs it off of the tip of my spear gun, at least it's just the metal tip I'm losing and not any other tips. When I look around cracks with the fish on the spear tip, I think a grouper might be more willing to come out and investigate. As I'm heading back to the boat, I'm surrounded by a school of barjacks. And I actually think barjacks are really good eating fish, so I pick out the fattest one in the group and take my shot. Look at this guy just eating chum, not a care in the world. You can see the shaft shooting through the snapper, doesn't affect it at all. And bam, stone cold shot. Let's prepare this snapper to cook him whole. The first thing we're gonna do is remove all of his scales. And I like doing this underwater because these scales shimmering down will attract other fish. And I've had some pretty nice fish swim up to me. You do gotta be a little bit on the edge because it also attracts predators. Doing this underwater is also a lot cleaner. You don't have scales flipping everywhere. The next thing we're gonna do is cut his gills out and his organs. So we start by slitting down his belly, opening it up, and then you can pull out all the organs and gills all at once. And when I squeezed the belly, out came this ballyhoo head. We were chumming with those ballyhoo we caught earlier, so he must have been sitting under the boat eating these things. Now we got them all cleaned up, no guts, no gills, no scales, just a beautiful snapper ready to get cooked whole, which we'll be doing in a little bit. We're at a new spot now, and it's only about 15 feet. I find it harder to sneak up on fish in shallower water, so I resort to the sand trick, where I lay on the bottom and I kind of flick sand around and crunch it around and try to make fish interested in coming to me. I come across a school of mangrove snappers, and they were basically all shooter size, which got me excited. And 2 of them lined up perfectly, so I tried to do the skewer shot, getting 2 fish at once. It went straight through the first fish, and then the second fish was able to wiggle off of the shaft. The other snapper was still on the shooting line, but I shot a little high, and I didn't want him to rip off, so I tried my best to finesse him up to me and grab him without him being able to tear off. Every time he tried darting away from me, I'd release a little tension so the line wouldn't rip out of him. After a little bit of finessing, I got him up and quickly dispatched him so he wouldn't be able to get away from me. I'm going to break this shot down because I think there's a valuable lesson here, but as these 2 snappers come on top of each other, actually there was almost a moment where all 3 of these snappers were in line, but I end up shooting my spear through these 2 snapper right here. I shoot a little high on the snapper in the front. It ends up going right through his top. You can see the shaft going through the top of them. And it enters into this stomach area on the back snapper. If we play it frame by frame, you can see the shaft in that snapper on the back. And at first, it almost looks like an okay shot because it's almost a whole inch or two in that snapper. Here you can see the shaft is going right through him. It doesn't look like a bad shot, right? But the stomach organ area of almost all fish, it's very thin skin. It's the thinnest part of the skin on the entire fish, so it can easily rip. And as you'll see here, I'm probably 1.5 inches up at the top of the organs, but it's still in that organ cavity at the bottom of a fish. With a couple of wiggles, this fish actually is able to rip the shaft out of his actual belly there. You can see it tearing through him. And then, of course, he fully tears the shaft off. Unfortunately for this fish, all these things coming out of the fish as he swims away is essentially his organs, everything that was in his stomach. He's going to die very soon, unfortunately. Even though we did get one fish, we essentially killed 2 fish. I consider this a bad shot, and I'm not very proud of this. If anything positive can happen from this, it's the lesson that you can learn to not shoot a fish in its organ cavities. If it's a strong fish, it will fight you literally until your shaft rips out of it. Then the fish will swim away and go and die somewhere. I spent the next hour looking under every single rock in the area, hoping I could find that snapper that got away. An injured fish will usually find a hole and just go into it and sit there. But look how beautiful this reef is. It's so full of life. I'm even going to slow motion it down a bit so you can see all these mangrove snappers, grunts everywhere, corals everywhere, pork fish. There's even a little lionfish. All of these yellowfish are grunts. I didn't notice this until editing, but there is a spider crab sitting up in that rock. That would have made a good meal, but I didn't see him. And check out this lionfish. I pick up this ballyhoo that I was using as a teaser and give him a little poke. Just look at the beauty of this reef. I just have to play it in slow motion. It's just so mind-boggling. I could lay down here all day long, appreciating all our fishy friends. They're probably wondering what I'm up to. I'm wondering the same thing. And I'm wondering, where's that big shooter fish at? And check out this French angel fish. Vibrant yellows and blacks. This reef is covered in grunts, these yellowfish and also the ones with blacktails. There's different species of grunts here, but they have no size limit. So if you're new to spearfishing and you wanted a panfish fry cookout, you could come here and just shoot these things all day long. I came across these 2 brick-looking things, but they weren't concrete, maybe some kind of wood. I'm not totally sure. It had some corals already kind of growing on it. Definitely man-made. Not sure what it was. I get back to the boat and it's time to clean this snapper. I'm going to clean it the same way that I cleaned the other snapper, removing its scales and organs. And remember I told you that while I'm descaling fish, other fish usually like to come and investigate? Well, that's exactly what happened to me here. At one point I turned around and noticed a big mutton snapper. He was just sitting behind the boat watching me clean this fish. So I grabbed my gun and I attempt to shoot it. He was a pretty good size. Somehow I shot right over his head, but this is actually crazy. When you slow it down, my shaft is going right for his head and he turns his head to the side and he actually hits the whole shaft with his body and knocks the shaft off to the side. I only noticed that once I freeze framed the shot, and you can actually see the shaft on his whole body as he flicks it away. These damn fish are getting good. And on top of that, I got a Charlie horse right after where my calf cramped up, which is one of the worst things that can happen when you're spearfishing. And I found the only way for me to feel better is by grabbing my fin and being able to put a little bit of pressure on my calf. That's a wrap. Let's go home. It's cooking time. We got the 2 mangrove snappers at the bottom, the barjack on the top right, and on the left we have a mojarra that I shot in the previous video. We're gonna test them all and see which one's our favorite. For seasonings, we're gonna use salt, pepper, some olive oil, and then our South Florida Fishing Channel Fish and Game seasoning, the blackening. If you want to support the channel, southfloridafishingchannel.com. We got seasonings, merch, fishing tackle, stickers, and it's all made right here in Florida. We got our fish olive oiled up, then seasoned, and I put a couple of chunks of butter on every fish. We also put butter inside of the fish cavities where the organs normally are. This way this little bad boy is buttered inside and out. We're gonna wrap them up in foil and put them on some charcoals. It's barbecue time. The past month or so, I've been barbecuing like crazy. Something about the flavor of cooking on coals is just... And y'all have been leaving a lot of suggestions in the comments about different brands to use. Charcoal briquettes versus like lump charcoal. So I'm experimenting. Publix had a buy one get one deal on these 16-pound bags. Normally they're like $11, so this bag was like $5 or $6. That's a hard deal to beat. And is it wrong of me to just put the whole bag in there and burn it? Are you supposed to remove the bag? I don't know, but I do know that I got a little bit of a flamethrower. No need to buy self-lighting charcoal when you got a flamethrower. All our fish are wrapped up in little pockets of goodness. I will say, compared to the lump coal, these charcoal briquettes are cooking way faster and way hotter. Wow. They look perfect. The fish is ready for a serving. It's not too often I can say we have almost too much fish. Oh, that spills on me, I'm done. We have our barjack looking delicious. Our mangrove snapper, both of them. The meat looks perfect and flaky. And you can even see there's some cheek meat on this guy. See if we can get that. Oh, that right there is cheek meat. It's supposed to be the best of the best. Melts in your mouth like butter. All right, let's try them all and see which one's our favorite. I'm gonna start with the mojarra. I actually really like mojarra.
Okay, these are the snappers. Ooh, it's a good chunk. I like that one a lot. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, mine, mojarra.
Yep, me too. Number one.
Snapper, this small snapper.
Okay.
Big snapper, barjack.
I like the mojarra the most. Then I like the big snapper the most. Then the barjack, and the little snapper the least.
Okay.
I think the little snapper has a weird taste to me. You like that?
Yeah, I like it. I think it tastes like, I think it kind of tastes like the mojarra a little bit.
Interesting. All the fish was delicious. It was flaky and it was pull right off the bone. Just pull the ribs out and you're ready to feast. Captain Elliot got some fish too, and he's not the only one that's going to be feasting on some of this fish. The chickens love pecking at all the leftovers and ensure that nothing goes to waste. I hope you all enjoyed this video, maybe even learned something. Please hit that thumbs up and leave a comment, as that helps my videos so much. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Big shout out to this video's sponsors, Boat Daddy. Find people with boats, events around you, and cool spots on the water. Download now in the Apple and Google Play Store. TampaClothing.com, full print custom jerseys, cut, printed, and sewn right here in Florida. You can't beat their quality and prices. PC Fun premium fishing gear at a low cost. Get 20% off on their website using my code SFFC20. If you want to support the South Florida Fishing Channel, contact me at Heiko at southfloridafishingchannel.com. You can really help me out by becoming a Fishing Channel donor, like these guys. These guys are awesome. Scan the QR code or look for the donate button in the video description below. Thank y'all so much for watching. Till next time.